Teams emerging for the last 40 minutes of the Magic 2015. Castleford Tigers 22-6 ahead. Defeat to Huddersfield last week was their third league and cup defeat in a row. And Tigers, no, they've only got 3 home games remaining. They could be gobbled up by the bottom 4 dogfight if they don't win here. Well, not giving it up though. And well, Wakefield, they're going to face a real scrap to preserve their 17-year Super League tenure between now and the end of the campaign. Then they face a real scrap here to get themselves back into a match that Castleford had in their pockets after 10 minutes, but what a fight back in the half hour after that, up to half-time.
Certainly has been, and I'm sure that Stuart Dickens said, look, we're still in with a great chance. 6 points adrift. I'm not so sure that Darryl Powell would have been impressed with well, I suppose he might say that they took their foot off the gas.
I'll tell you what was impressive, Eddie. Wakefield had the ball 17 times in the first half and didn't make one single mistake. I'd have to go back and look at all of the games they've played this season, but we'll talk about that as a completion rate, how many times you've held on to the ball. Never, I don't think, if they've played a half this season, 40 minutes, where they've completed at 100% of the sets of possession. It's given them a chance to be competitive now in the second half.
This is Danny Washbrook for Wakefield. He'll get to his feet and play it to Godinay. It goes wide via Daniel Smith to Matt Ryan. And Wakefield looking for the start of the second half that Castleford had at the start of the first. High hanging kick from Jacob Miller. Underneath it though, without too much difficulty.
It was a good set though by Wakefield, and the kick was good, the chase was even better.
They're vigorous, aren't they, Wakefield?
Well, they weren't.
They'll say just wipe out the memory of that first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
This would have been a really great performance.
Yeah, they paid the price, as you say, Eddie. They were 16-0 down, and with only 15 minutes gone in the game, and it's a credit to them that they are fighting back. You know, we mentioned about all the injuries, or that was an impossible offload.
I thought that it might have been a high shot on Milner as well.
Eddie, they're obviously a side in a club that have got some spirit. They were 18 points to 0 down last week against Widnes in a game. 18-0 down and came back to be competitive. Lost in the end by just 12 points when the Vikings got 30. But I do think that they've got something in them. Obviously, the starts of the game for the last 2 matches haven't been good. They're going to start the second half a little stronger.
Oh, and juggling skills from Tim Smith. He gets it away to Jacob Miller. And Miller gets away from 1, gets away from 2, and can't get away from Liam Finn and Ryan Boyle. Yeah, Michael Carter said that he went into the dressing rooms last week, and probably the first time he's ever gone into his dressing room, he says, because he leaves the playing matters to the coaches and the players, and he said, all right, you've lost by 30 points to 18, but that was a really competitive display, and he thanked his players for that. That wasn't the best kick to Solomona, though.
No, I'm afraid that Peter Godinay went for the option, but it was right down the throat. But they were buoyed down that. You know, you look through the pack of this Wakefield outfit, that they've got a lot of strong players that can put them in a good position. And late in that first half, you saw the combination of Jacob Miller and Tim Smith coming to the fore. So they've got the capabilities of getting that 6 points deficit back.
Yes, they have, and they have some players still to come back the back end of the season from injury. They'll be looking forward to getting a full strength side out on the pitch for the middle eights. Meanwhile, they're defending this kick from Liam Finn, and Richard Owen is underneath it, pouched it safely. Half-time news, Bill.
As the Wildcats win a penalty, which will benefit them. There's plenty of positivity in the Wakefield Wildcats camp, the way they've come back into this game, cut the deficit, still in contention, and the coach, Stuart Dickens, the man in charge at the moment, wants them just to keep it simple, play on what they set out to do. They didn't do it immediately, but they've got back to where they want to be, and they're in good shape going into this second half. Castleford Tigers frustrated, having got into that dominant position to let Wakefield back into the game, and looking to re-establish their authority and regain the momentum they had.
But it's a competitive start to this second half from Wakefield, and here they come again. with Michael Simon. Oh, but the ball is then spilled, and Lynch has it for Castleford.
Yeah, lost control of the big fella Simon. When they were looking for another good kick and chase.
Move! Hold the 10, wait!
Waiting.
Obviously they'll be looking down to attack, though they've got on the right-hand side, but they put a lot of pressure on the young winger Tom Johnson.
Strong run from Junior Moores, that.
I'm waiting for him to fire. Junior Moores had a good start to the season for Castleford. He had an injury, picked up a knock, had some time away. Speed of the ruck, speed of the play, the ball in the favour of the Tigers.
Yes, Milner, good run from a quick play the ball. Kermondo and Godinez is there, and Daniel Smith to bring him down. 8 metres away, they're on the last tackle. Gale switches the direction of the attack, and it wasn't the best for Jordan Tanzi. He had to put the brakes on and skidded to the floor, knock on.
That was a poor effort. No communication there. Jordan Tanzi came far too early. The idea, switch back. If it comes off, looks good. But if you overrun it, it looks very bad indeed.
Boyle covered in the paint off the ground markings. He gets the tackle in just the same. That was another quick play of the ball. There's a kick downfield from Tim Smith, and it's an invitation here for Johnson to chase, and Tanzi will have to be quick. Tanzi gets the ball. That's a wonderful, enthusiastic chase from Johnson, trapping him in goal. Goal line dropout coming up.
Yeah, smart kick. Good job that Tanzi got there, because I got the impression that Dennis Solomona did not have the speed, not as much as this guy.
He still had work to do, Tom Johnson, didn't he? That kick was a good one. It was put into space, but there was the intensity from Tom Johnson that forced the hand of Jordan Tanzi.
Well, I don't know if Brian Smith is still with us live in Australia, but the opening 10 minutes would have been enough for him, I suppose, to just scratch his head. But the period of this match since, it's been very encouraging from Wakefield's point of view. And to be fair to them, you know, every time we've seen them this year, they've given a reasonable account of themselves. Remember the game against St Helens early in the season, you know, a little decision went against them and it all went wrong. It could have been 3 wins from 4 at the start of the year for them.
And the biggest problem they've had, Eddie, is that even before the season started, they had a very, very shallow squad. A couple of injuries, and before you know it, they were struggling.
Sounds like you're struggling. The 7th hour of a 14-hour week is starting to take its toll on the vocal cords of Steve-O.
I'll suffer, Eddie, because it's been a great 2 days.
It has.
Your wheels suffer, Steve-O.
This is Jacob Miller from dummy half, gets it to Tim Smith again. Richard Owen, who's only just picked himself up really off the deck after that tackle, running laterally, shows it to 2, goes himself.
They have asked a lot of questions here of Castleford's defence in that set. The referee's got his hands up. There's 5 tackles already gone.
And Smith just drop it underneath the post, and it was easy in the end for Webster. Oh, what's happened there? What's happened there to Webster? He seemed to stumble as he brought the ball away from the in-goal area, having diffused the kick.
I think he's just turned the ankle.
Move, Daniel. Wait.
Something's gone radically wrong for him there.
Well, that's the second time he's
been in the walls
down
tonight.
Yeah.
Daniel, move.
There's no contact on him. Is it some kind of lower limb injury?
Neck.
Or has he just turned the ankle?
10 metres. Go.
Well, it may have been a strain, but either way, he's trying to run it off, and that's an intelligent kick. Oh, this is a gift.
Hat-trick for Solomona as Richard Owen hangs his head in despair. The bounce was awful, to be fair, but it was a bit of a lackadaisical chase to the wing by him, and he thought it was his, all ends up, and then the ball took a shocking bounce away from him. And Solomona was the man who just swooped on the loose ball, picked it up and touched it down for his hat-trick of tries. We had 2 yesterday. Here's the first hat-trick in day 2 of the Magic.
It was a beautiful kick though, wasn't it, by Luke Gale. Got it to perfection, and poor old Richard Owen slips on the surface. It's a gift. It's a hat-trick gift.
It's very casual. I know this.
I was just going to say that, Eddie. I think if he watches that again and Stuart Dickens reviews it with him, he'll say, hurry to where the ball is. then assess the situation, because you've got time. But he took his time. The bounce of the ball was a bad one. Denny Solomona capitalised on that. He gets his hat-trick, and it was his chase and his intensity. And sometimes Denny Solomona, on the side nearest to us, is facing and is in opposition to young Tom Johnson, who's having a great game. And that might well just be sparking Denny Solomona up. Anything you can do, I can do better.
Well, he scored 2 in the first 6 minutes. He's got 1 in the opening 8 minutes of the second half. That's his hat-trick. Record, I think, for tries in this Magic event in a game by any player is 5. So that's under threat from Solomona, and Wakefield are now 28-16.
Well, the bounce goes against him here, and Denny Solomona makes it look easy. I wonder whether Justin Carney's a little nervous. I wonder whether they get back in the side when he's back fully fit. He's been the man on the left-hand side of the field for the Tigers in the recent seasons that scored them the points, but Denny Solomona scored what I believe will be the match-defining play in this game. It's a massive kick-off again that's gone too far.
Sails out on the ball, second time in the match by Wakefield. Denny Solomona, by the way, ex-London Broncos, of course, hat-trick here in his very brief career of 26 first-team matches in the Super League. And that's way out over the dead ball line.
That's a horrible mistake. From one mistake to another. I mentioned earlier, he's not having the best of games.
So here come Castleford again in the shape of Oliver Holmes. He got a try in a defeat to Wakefield in the Magic in 2012. And Junior Moores will take the ball forward again for Castleford. Looks like the Tigers are trying to ramp up the pressure on the Wildcats here with Finn, gets the pass away, and McMeekan hangs on.
Well, they're screaming for it out here on the left, but they've gone on that short blind side.
With Webster, turns it back to McMeekan, another ex-London Bronco player. He gets the ball away, and that's Ashley Gibson who's over in the corner. 2 tries in almost as many minutes for Castleford. Now it's a question of whether the Wakefield heads go down. If they show the character that they displayed in the first half, they won't. But 2 tries in quick succession has turned the game right into Castleford's hands.
All came about by the shocking kickoff. Puts them well and truly under pressure. They thought they had it all fixed up, but that is poor defence. They allowed it to get away, and Webster just loops it over the top for his winger.
I think we should give some credit here to Mike McMeekan. They're the big number 24. Look, there's 3 men around him. He still keeps the ball alive. Good play for the second row, playing on the right-hand side. Stays behind Jake Webster to get the ball. Keeps it alive again. And no matter how hard those red shirts work, they can't stop the ball and stop the try.
Delighted, Ashley Gibson. 4 times an England international during his career. This is his 11th appearance of the season, by the way, Ashley Gibson. That is already more than all of last year. Luke Gale, been kicking well. Can he add the extras again from way out, this time on the right-hand side? Measured the kick, it's on its way, and just in front of the posts. So well, 32-16.
Yeah, we've seen some good hat-tricks, haven't we, at the Magic weekend. This was the first one for Denny Solomona, and the second one, beautiful fend away, got to it. Thought it's got a hat-trick in the first half, and there was a slip, took full advantage, and boy, is he pleased about that.
Yes, he'll be delighted. As I say, only 26 first-team appearances in Super League, but a hat-trick of tries. Formerly with the Broncos.
2, move, Peter! Hold, no, wait here, John, go, hold on. Tim,
So Milner into the arms of Lynch.
Move, Tim, hold the 10.
Well, at 32-16, you'd think that the Tigers have well and truly home for those vital 2 points. But I'm sure that Darryl Powell will get the message through and said, listen, we do not slacken off. We've got to make it as though Wakefield are on the 0. Do not let them cross the line again.
That's a good run from Junior Moores. Back it comes to Finn. High off the right boot of Finn. Super League full time. You see all the tries scored this magic weekend. Again, Monday night, 10 o'clock on Sky Sports 2. And we'll be talking to Brian Smith live from Australia, all being well, on Wednesday at 6 on Sky Sports 3. In boots and all. Here's Tim Smith. Gets the ball away once again. But they play the ball. And that is John Malloy. He plays it then to Peter Godinay. Solid run then from Nick Scruton.
Can't be many people who get a job because their friends sent them a text and a tip for the person who'd actually lost his job. I mean,
incredible.
Brian Smith must have coached James Webster at the time when he was over in Australia. It's obviously a healthy sign of the relationship between those two that he's tipped him to take over.
And a healthy sign for Webster that, you know, he didn't just delete the text, he sent it on to Michael Carter, and the rest, as they say, is history. Brian Smith is now his successor. I think that's a big move by James Webster, I do.
Well, it goes back, my philosophy on coaching is really strong. I think as an apprentice or an assistant coach, you need to learn under a couple of different coaches. James Webster, after no time retiring as a player, was thrust into the head coach's role, did a good job at the back end of last year. Now, I genuinely think that 8 to 10 years as an assistant coach should be the minimum, really, so that an assistant coach can learn from the mistakes of the older, more experienced coach and mentor. And we're sat just in front of Darryl Powell, who did exactly that. Went into the championship, earned his reputation at Featherstone, made mistakes at the level below the intensity of the Super League, and hasn't he done a good job? The current coach of the year.
Well, you've got to take into account that Brian Smith has tutored quite a lot of coaches in both in the NRL and, of course, over in this country. So he's got the knowledge, he's passed it on. And that's a neat little kick into the corner.
Great example of the attacking kicks that Castleford put in. You put your opponents under pressure when you kick the ball. It makes it a far more easier game to play and a more enjoyable one, because they're Wakefield side are just hanging on there, aren't they, for that?
Just going back to the change of coach, I am trying to give Webster credit for passing the information on, not feeling bitter and twisted and upset that he's lost his job. You know, he passed the information on to the club that had just disposed of his services, and Brian Smith's moving in.
He's a great guy, and he loves rugby league. I'm with you, Eddie. I think it's a great gesture. And I'm so pleased about Wakefield, who've just said, we want to go with someone who has the experience. We talked about the fact that Brian Smith will put into a very, very good, strong structure.
This is another friendly fire injury. Junior Moores, I think, clouts Adam Milner. There you go. Get a bit of that into you.
Bang, that might be a broken nose. Came across with some force, that. Straight into the face of his teammate Milner.
There we go.
Milner needing treatment, and the referee just stopping the clock.
They lost one hooker in the first half. It looks like they'll lose the second here.
No, I think he's going to be okay. It's only a broken nose, Phil.
Yeah, but the bleeding is the problem. If you can't stop the bleeding, you'd have to be the best corner man in the world to stop that from bleeding.
He didn't miss him, did he?
Well, they do have a possible replacement for Milner if they need him, because one of those 4 England caps that I mentioned Ashley Gibson won in his career was actually at hooker for the then coach Paul Cullen. So they can replace him perhaps and rejig elsewhere.
I know Jordan Tanzi's played hooker in his career. He's got the skills, he's got the distribution skills. It's Grant Millington that's come on.
Yes, he will replace him in terms of the number, but
Nathan Massey just trying to work out whether he's on the
going
pitch.
in at hooker. Can you? We'll see.
Well, it really makes no difference in regards to striking for the ball in the scrum. They don't even do it these days. I still maintain that the days of the name the hooker have well and truly gone. They're just an added extra scrum half.
Okay, well, you could call him a dummy half passer because his main job is to stand behind and play the ball, and 100 times a game, pass it to the right player, doing it pretty well, and I think that's the most important aspect there that player fulfills.
Danger being shown here by that run from Washbrook. Peter Gardiner will pick it up, find Tim Smith, he'll turn it back on the inside again, quick hands, this is Danny Kermond, and Kermond tried to get it away to Gardiner, who was supporting the run and has turned the possession over.
Well, at least they're trying to keep this ball alive and find a bit of a weakness in the Tigers' defence. As I said earlier, Daryl Powell will just say, look, we have this game all sewn up as far as they're concerned. They just want to make sure that Wakefield do not score again.
I think we have our answer. I think Liam Finn has gone tonight.
Yeah.
Split his responsibility during his career between 7 and 9. I think they'll play with 6 running forwards. That's why Grant Millington replaced the hooker Adam Milner.
Penalty here to Castleford. They might think they have got the game won. Wakefield won't, and the evidence of the first half suggests that perhaps there is still more to come from this Wildcat side.
Well, you can see that Scruton was not standing square. A little bit lazy there by Scruton.
Interesting to see whether they get a little bit adventurous here now in the attack. They're in a great position. Just over 20 minutes to go in the game.
Could go the other way, Phil. The message might have gone out from Daryl Powell. He might have said, look, let's just concentrate on all the key components of the game. Let's be clean, let's be clinical. Don't get loose, don't get sloppy.
Millington gets a touch there, gives it to Ashley Gibson. There are 3 there to bring him down. Gardinay's hanging on to his ankle. Mike McMeekin it is. Oh, and there's a bit of an argy-bargy there.
Well, he wouldn't release him. A few words being offered. Well, it surprised me because in that first half, the Tigers really pinpointed Tom Johnston out on that right wing, and also the fact that is where Tim Smith, he stands on the defensive line out there on their left-hand side, right, of course, for Wakefield.
This is Junior Moores. As Castleford look to press home their advantage even further. Liam Finn has a dart from dummy half. Down he goes, Matt Ryan. And Scruton bringing him down. Plays the ball here to Junior Moores. He switches the direction of the attack. Millington, short ball to Webster. Webster spinning, turning, gets it away to Gibson.
Score!
Second try for Ash Gibson. Another flying effort from a winger in the horizontal, and he touched the ball down cleanly. 2 tries for him.
Good work, switch to the short side. The strength of Jake Webster. That is the second time that they have not been able to shut the big centre down. Riley came off, tried his damnedest, but the feed was good, and Gibson gets in for try number 2.
And I'm trying not to criticise Wakefield defenders, but there's enough players around this to solve it. Jake Webster is an incredibly strong player, but there's 3 players clutching at him. And the offload gives Ashley Gibson another try. I mentioned Tom Johnson being from the Stanley Club. I forgot about Ash Gibson and Gareth Carvell. It's been a good afternoon for Ashley Gibson.
It has. Good afternoon at the Magic. Last time he got 2 tries was in a 22-20 win at his former club, Salford. 2 tries here in Newcastle at St James Park in the final match of the Magic weekend of 2015. And can Gale kick this? Another difficult effort from the far side, tight to the touchline. Oh, and he can. Yes, he can. 38 points to 16. We're reaching almost the average of points in this fixture at the Magic.
Well, there's not a lot of point in stopping the man if you can't stop the ball. And again, for the second time, Wakefield have got themselves a number of defenders around the player, but he still managed to offload to a player in space who knew just about how to dive inside that corner post.
Blue skies overhead in Newcastle tonight as the Magic draws to a close. Glorious day yesterday, chilly, cold day today with plenty of wind knocking around the stadium. Bit of rain early on, but the skies have cleared. The sun has shone in general on the Magic weekend. Another penalty for interference at the ruck by Wakefield. Touch of indiscipline, touch of frustration, no doubt.
And I think you've got to add to that they are going very, very tired. They put in a brave effort, very brave effort indeed, but I'm afraid it's going to be difficult for them. 19 minutes remaining. It's going to be a long, hard slog for the Wakefield side.
Cheers, Jake.
Millington has hold of it for Castleford. Liam Finn pointed to where he wanted the runner to go, and the runner obliged. It was Nathan Massey. Finn again. Into centre field to Junior Moores. Tries to bump off Peter Godinay. Good run again. He's put in a few of those since he's come off the bench as Junior Moores. Should that have been another penalty? The referee keeps patience this time. Nathan Massey hangs on for Castleford. Reached the last tackle now. 23 metres away from the Wakefield line with Liam Finn. He'll hoist the kick to this left-hand side. Looking for Solomona. Oh, they make a complete porridge of it. And Solomona comes up with try number 4. The try is given. Solomona is on the cusp of history. 5 tries in the Magic is the record. He could easily beat that. 4th has just been scored. A collision between 2 Wakefield defenders, and that was a gift.
Yeah, it was a pretty high kick there. Luke Gale got it high enough. There was no conversation between the 2 Wakefield players. Someone should have said, it's got to be me, and it's got to be mine. And I'm afraid that that wasn't the best, was it? No communication for it. It finished up as a gift. Gale with the high kick. Owen went for it, and so did Tom Johnston. And the result is another try.
Well, I'm talking about 5 tries being the record in a Magic weekend single game. He has just now equalled Castleford's Super League try scoring in a match record. Likes of Wayne Price, Rangi Chase, Kirk Dixon, James Clare, they've all put 4 tries on the board during a match, and Deli Solomona has added to that list. And Luke Gale drifts the ball over the top of the bar, adds the extras. They're over 40, it's 44-16.
Well, Luke Gale's kick to set up the try was brilliant, but the conversion added 2 more points. I'm not sure where they're going to put the Tiger tank Justin Kanu when he returns, because Dennis Solomona just seems to be in the right place at the right time. Some wingers have an instinct to knack. Maybe players like Alan Shearer used to score for fun on this ground. Dennis Solomona's doing exactly the same, putting himself in the striker's position to convert all those half chances.
Would you put him in the middle, Phil? Here's a question for you. Remember Freddie Tuolangi while he was playing for St Helens? Come on off the bench and just run him up. Destructive runner that he was. Would you give him a job in the middle?
Well, I would imagine maybe it's the position on the other side. Maybe Ash Gibson might be the one under pressure, because I do think they'll get Justin Carney out wide, who has been devastating for them. Arguably one of the best players in Super League on his day. I hope that elbow injury recovers pretty soon and we get to see him back in action for the Castleford Tigers.
Oh, these penalties are killing the Wildcats apart from everything else.
They're tired, Eddie. They're trying their best just to slow the Tigers down, and as a result, Danny Kerman gives away another penalty.
Highest score of the season now, by the way, for Castleford, 44-16. It beats the 42-14 against Wigan. Here goes Junior Moores again. He's been pretty devastating since he's come off the bench. He's run well, run hard and strong, straight. Massey.
He gets over the advantage line, which is so important. You talk about the return, Eddie, of Carney. The combination, of course, with Shenton will be a real boost to the Tigers.
A slip from Liam Finn, which allows Wakefield to come in and effect the tackle. Kermond and Tim Smith. Here is Luke Gale again, showing it and going. Spinning the ball away, it hits the ground. Massey thought he was over for a try, but it's a knock-on instead.
Good work by Gale. You can see that he got the arm free to offload. And Massey knows that there's a golden opportunity to score the try, get out on their feet.
And that's the point I was making. Sorry, Steve. That's the point I was making for Daryl Powell. This could well take the shine off it. If it's a messy finish, the last 15 minutes or so end up being mistake-ridden. I'm sure he'll take that as a negative and probably focus on that during the week.
Well, the supporters are enjoying things. By the sound of things, they're singing their way to the final whistle. The Castleford fans, that is, as we go down to Bill.
Eddie, it's a tough enough game this is without getting clattered by one of your own teammates and having your nose plastered all over your face, but that is the fate suffered by Adam Milner. I think somebody referred a moment ago to Junior Moores being pretty devastating. Well, he certainly was when he clocked his own hooker. So poor old Adam Milner's got a broken nose as a result of that.
So that's 2 hookers they've lost in this game, Castleford. Adam Milner. And the man who started the match, of course, Scott Moore. Nasty clash of heads.
Well, that will please Daryl Powell. The defensive qualities there. It wasn't the best pass out wide by the Wakefield side. Riley tried his damnedest, but the pressure and the weight take him over the whitewash.
Well, the Castleford fans enjoying what they're seeing. They enjoy any win against their local rivals. This is a big win, the best score of the season, as I say.
Sammy Shaw, a close-up shot there of Liam Finn, and the combination of Finn and Gale has been pretty solid.
Holmes will take it forward again.
Peter, move! Hold the 10, wait, no.
13 minutes remaining as Liam Finn from dummy half gets it away to Junior Moores, and those legs keep pumping again, taking 2 and 3 defenders at times, another 4 or 5 metres after they get to him. Solid runs from Moores. Here's McMeekin again. Whoa, and the pass is a gift, an absolute gift to Jacob Miller.
Stand up.
I get the impression that Miller called out for that one because it came very, very quickly indeed.
Next Thursday we'll be back with you for the Super League, and it will be Widnes against Hull, Sky Sports 1 at 7:30. And on Friday we'll see Warrington against the Catalan Dragons. Same channel, same time.
Well done, play on.
Godinay with a little run.
Tell you what is impressive here, they're well beaten on the scoreboard, but they're still playing with a lot of attacking flair here. Look, players running with the ball, carry a lot of support, inside pass.
To Richard Owen, Webster's after him, so too Massey. Pull him down 12 metres away from the line on the 5th tackle. Last one coming up then. Kick here from Smith maybe, out wide, looking for Johnson. He's on a hat-trick, finds Johnson, palms it down. Kermon's after it, Kermon picks it up, and Kermon just can't get the ball away. That's a knock-on. It was good harassing defence from Castleford.
Well, Oliver Holmes has fallen on that loose ball. It'll be the turnover. Kermon tried his damnedest. It was a neat little tap back by Tom Johnson.
Well, they've managed for almost half an hour, the Tigers, to keep their opponents scoreless. And again, you saw good commitment in the defence. On that kick was a threat from Tim Smith to the corner. To get through from half-time to the end of the game without allowing another Wakefield point scored will be, I'm sure, a pleasing aspect for the coach Daryl Powell and his staff when they drive home, and the team, because if they do want to become a top 8 team and ultimately a top 4 side this year, then I think concentration and playing for every second of every minute is one of the aspects that they need to improve on, and certainly they've worked on it well in this match.
Every minute matters, Phil.
Every second counts, I think. Now we'll get to that stage as we get closer to round 23 and the cut-off period.
Lovely little offload there by Junior Moores to Tansey. Tansey then gives it to McMeekin again down that right-hand side. Ryan, Miller and Godinay there to halt any possibility. It's Webster at dummy half. It goes down the right-hand side to Finn. Little chip over the top from Finn. Picked up by Riley, but he is dragged into the in-goal area by Ash Gibson. It's a goal line dropout.
And that's where you show you control the game. Okay, it was diffused well by Chris Riley, but they had the numbers to put them under the pressure. Control.
It doesn't look much, Steve, but I'm sure Daryl Powell, Ryan Sheridan, Danny all half-backs in the time, they'll appreciate that when the game's gone and it could get sloppy, as mentioned a couple of times, just to practice that, execute that, knowing that at some point in the future you're going to need it at a time when pressure could be on.
Goal line dropout was more like a grubber kick. Picked up by the Castleford Tigers.
And a good run by Wilmar there, took it strong for them. Look, they're playing as if the scoreboard's 0-0 and they need to score. They need to score and certainly apply some pressure. 10 to go.
Well,
wide to the right.
They were aggrieved with the fact that they lost that big lead in the last 9 minutes of the round 1 match against Wakefield. They'll want to put them to the sword even further if they possibly can.
And they'll also be looking now, Eddie, to try to get try number 5 for Solomona.
And they're coming this way. They're coming this way with Shenton. Solomona's hugging the touchline. Solomona is bundled into touch.
Picked up a bit of an injury as well. Yeah, that was better there by Tom Johnson. Wasn't going to be sucked in on that occasion. Picked up a bit of a knock. But what a day for the winger. 4 tries already. Still got time to post the 5.
Arms round Cass. Wait for the out call, Tim. Hold on a minute.
There's still plenty of time. Just shy of 9 minutes remaining. The final 9 minutes of Magic 2015. And it has been magic from start to finish. It really has.
Hold the 10. Wait. Go. Play on.
Some good stuff. We've had some great tries. We've had a little bit of controversy here and there. We've had a great draw in the opening match today. A real dogfight between Saints and Warrington that Saints won. We had wonderful entertainment all day yesterday in the sunshine. The Magic, the 9th Magic, the first time we've been in Newcastle. Everyone's enjoyed it. Everyone, that is, except Wakefield, who are struggling away here to try and keep respectability in this match, and they did that in the first half.
5 movement.
Paul McShane goes down, plays the ball to Godinay. Here is Tim Smith. Last tackle it is, so the kick from Smith. Kermond has not given up the chase, neither has Tim Smith. Oh, but here we go. Here is a tremendous run from Solomona. He's on for 5. He gives the ball to Holmes. They're coming down his wing, but he's not there. Holmes has got Gale, and Gale will go in. Well, Solomona scored 4. He wanted 5. He might yet get 5, but he turns the provider with that break from deep. The support from Holmes, the finish from Luke Gale, the delight on the face of the Castleford Tigers scrum half. And in the background, Tom Johnson on his backside and receiving treatment.
Yeah, you're right. Scorer of 4 already, and this time the provider. He could have got a little bit over the top of himself and think that I'll go for the 5, but it was a good team effort. He realised he didn't just want to go for glory. He knew that Holmes was there, and so was Luke Gale, and they were shouting, offload. Gale did that. Been an impressive showing from the Tigers.
And Solomona was pleased with the try for Gale as he was with any of his 4.
Well, that's a huge effort from Oliver Holmes. The man in the middle of the sandwich, Denny Solomona, makes the break, feeds the offloads the ball to Oliver Holmes, who unselfishly, he has a dig, he backs himself, and at the point where he thinks I'm not going to get there, the supporting Luke Gale profits. He gets the try, but I'm sure he'll thank Oliver Holmes.
Yes, they will. He will thank Oliver Holmes. He will also thank Denny Solomona and Luke Gale now to try and add the extra 2 points, which would mean a half-century for the Tigers.
I bet he never imagined as a young boy, or a young player in fact, even in the sport, that he'd end up scoring at St James's Park. On a try like that as well. Wonderful effort for Luke Gale, who's worked hard in his career. Rejected by some clubs, he's had to bounce down to a few different teams until find his way back here now, rising up to the top of his profession.
50 up for the Castleford Tigers. 50 points to 16. 66 points in the match, above the average for meetings between these two at the Magic weekend.
Well, maybe a reflection here now of some fatigue setting in for Wakefield. They've tried hard, they can't handle the class. You know, last year when Castleford were at the best, they scored more long-range tries than any other team. There's a classic example of how they can strike close to their own line and hurt their opponents.
Okay,
And Webster's underneath the kick-off. He just gets away from the chance that was offered to Matt Ryan to bring him down.
Wait, trapped in. Go. Discipline.
I don't think he's enjoying the magic, is Jake Webster.
He's picked up a knock
picked
again.
up a few bumps and bruises, hasn't he?
Yeah, but it's not tiddlywinks, Eddie.
Keep that up.
McMeekan again for Castleford.
Jacob, move.
And even though Wakefield have been outplayed
You got him trapped
for
in.
most of this game anyway, they put in some good hits.
Liam. Okay.
Owen
Liam, no.
takes it cleanly in the end. But the chase from Castleford was magnificent so late in the game, with a 50-16 scoreline in their favour. Nowhere for Tom Johnson to go here.
Movement, Nathan.
Keeping the pressure on the Wildcats, the Castleford Tigers.
Two.
Chris Riley coming in off the wing looking for a bit of work.
Hold the 10, wait. Oh, stand up. You threw yourself on the floor.
Godinez is there again, down the left-hand side. McShane fighting to keep to his feet, going down under the challenge from Millington originally. Godinez goes without it, went backwards, says the referee. Play on. Riley again.
One pleasing aspect as well for Darryl Powell, the Castleford coach, is the way that they've really marshalled the first and second marker. Very few breaks have come from that area from Wakefield today. Nice pass.
Yes, Finn found Tanzi. Here he comes. He's coming down this left-hand side. Where's Solomona? He's joining in the fun now. He's there. Tanzi keeps going to the halfway line.
Move down 18. Wait.
Still time, Eddie, for Solomona to get number 5.
Yeah, there is Oliver Holmes. Takes tackle number 2. They're inside Wakefield territory. Shenton, the skipper, comes down this left-hand side. Tackled by Dean Collis. Solomona now at dummy half. Infield it comes to Luke Gale. And Luke Gale goes through the gap. Ghosted through. He has Liam Finn. Liam Finn slips twice and can't get over the line.
Liam Finn, he's done everything right. Slips and falls, the poor lad.
The invisible man tackled him.
Gale with a long looping pass finds Tanzi. Tanzi over the top to Gibson. It's a hat-trick for Ashley Gibson. Not happy with it, the touch judge on the far side. They have a try on the field. Just want to check everything's A-OK with the touchdown.
Well, again, the obligatory dive into the corner, absolutely no problem with that. This will be confirmed as the try.
Is there a school that's just opened up for wingers in Super League, you think, to score spectacular tries? Because they're all students.
It's part of the job description, isn't it? You've got the smallest of spaces to work in. And we were discussing Justin Carney and how he'd get back into this team. Phil, you suspected that Ash Gibson might be the one that moves aside, but 3 tries for him today. There we go. Here we go. Luke Gale, who's had a good afternoon. Dummies to one of his opponents, and the invisible man cuts down Liam Finn. And it's Luke Gale again who's searching for a better option. Jordan Tanzi flops it over the top, and that's a quality finish from Ash Gibson. Wakefield all over the place at the minute, and Ash Gibson and Castleford Tigers get another 4 points.
Well, whoever has started the school for flying wingers will be making a fortune. Tommy Makinson, I think, set the standard, didn't he, last year with some wonderful efforts for St Helens on the flank. And we've had so many over this Magic weekend, and quite a few through the course of the season as well. And our flying wingers are waiting, John and Brian, to analyse the second half of this match, which will feature yet another successful conversion from Luke Gale, who now takes his personal tally to 20 of the 56 points.
Here's the hat-trick from the man, Ashley Gibson. That was his offload. Good work by Jake Webster. And it was Tanzi's long pass out wide. Leaping finish. Yep. You can congratulate. It is a great feat to score a hat-trick.
And we've had 3 from him, and we've had 4 from Denny Solomona. There was a rally from Wakefield in the first half. They got it back from 16-0 to 22-16, but in the second half, completely outplayed. They haven't scored a point, and Castleford, well, they're doing their own points difference a power of good. 6 tries they have scored.
Well, Eddie, you asked a question about wingers and the skill that they've got at the minute. It may well have been invented by, it's the best nickname I've ever heard for a rugby league player. He was called Wilf Rosenberg. He played for the Leeds Rhinos, the Leeds RL club, and he was nicknamed the Flying Dentist. And I've seen a black and white photograph of him scoring a fantastic diving try in the corner at Headingley. So he may well have invented it. But the modern day winger has perfected it.
Yeah, absolutely they have. Last 20 seconds of the Magic Weekend 2015. Will it end with something for Wakefield to shout about and go home with a smile? Maybe not, because Millington's all over the top of Jacob Miller. Counting down to the end of this late spring festival. Does Jordan Tansey have something left? No, he doesn't. It's all over. Castleford have won by 56 points to 16. Their best win, their highest score of the season. Aren't they delighted, the Castleford Tigers supporters? Revenge is sweet, and they get revenge for their round 1 defeat by Wakefield on their own midden way back in February. Hope for Wakefield. The news, in case you've missed it earlier, is that Brian Smith has been appointed the new head coach of the Wakefield Wildcats. He is on the plane this week and will be here next week, and will pick up the duties on Monday. But there's the man of the match. 4 tries for Denny Solomona, and he's with Bill.
Denny, on a personal note, 4 tries at a venue like this must feel good.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Great atmosphere out here in Newcastle, and just good to get back out there with the boys.
4, it could have been 5 if you're a more selfish man, perhaps.
No. I just thought Oggy was screaming his lungs out, so I thought I'd give him a try.
I mean, ultimately, this is a convincing win. There was a phase in the game where Wakefield were making you work for it.
Yeah, well, they came out firing, and we expected that, as they do. We just needed to stick to our game plan. We fell through 10 minutes into the half, let them back in, and then it kind of rocked the boat from there, so we tried to get back into it from there.
Tell you what, you got Justin Carney sitting in the stand, James Clare as well. There's some competition for these wing players. I mean, Ash Gibson's got a hat-trick today.
Yeah, 100%. You know, that's what's good about here. You've got healthy competition here. Makes you play better as well.
Well done today. Those are your fans singing.
Cheers. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, mate.
Well done to Denny Solomon and the Castleford Tigers. Just 6 points separated the sides at half-time, and then 6 second-half tries. So the Castleford Tigers blew it out to 56 points to 16 in favour of Darryl Powell's men and John Wells. A very, very confident performance of the Castleford Tigers, who can only get better when Luke Dorn and Justin Carney come back into their side.
Yeah, that's, people seem to forget, I guess because of which the likes of Denny Solomona slip into that side, that there are some real strike weapons still missing from this Castleford side. 40-point winning margin is fantastic, and I'm establishing myself as a founder member of the Luke Gale for England fan club.
Okay, we're shortly going to get to your moment of the weekend. I'm going to pick probably a bizarre one, really. It came from that game, and it was for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. The announcement today of Brian Smith as their coach till the end of the year. He will have to restructure the club, and it'll be based around players like Tom Johnson, I believe, that the Wakefield Trinity Wildcat fans may have a bright and a happy future.
Yeah, I agree 100%. The challenge for Wakefield is riding through this next 6 months and not having, I know he's just signed the new deal, but in situations like this, there is always a temptation from the bigger clubs to come in, and I hope that they honour the deal. I hope that he stays there, and I hope that they can build a team around players like that.
Yeah, he's got the physical attributes to be a very, very good winger. John, your standout moment of the weekend?
Well, for me, it had to be the culmination to the Huddersfield Catalan game. I think the Catalan Dragons played outstandingly well in the second 40. It was a game that burst to life in that second half, didn't it? And this, the final moments of the game, the hooter sounded between this try following a superb finish in the corner from Jermaine McGilvray, and then the conversion after the hooter from the touchline from Danny Brough. And we thought we'd show you this in its entirety because it's a pretty special piece of footage and just shows what it means to players like this. They crawl at the other end of the country, they bring an army of fans with them, and it still comes down to moments like this. And look at that for a reaction when he realises he's drawn the game. And I think they were lucky actually to get away with the point.
Dealt admirably with the pigeons at St James's Park. Okay, look, great finish by Danny Brough and for the Huddersfield Giants as well. Great Magic weekend, Eddie. Everybody's thoroughly enjoyed their time up here in the northeast. Back to you.
Yeah, super weekend, and a great finish for the Castleford Tigers. This massive win against the Wakefield Wildcats. And 4 tries from Solomona, 3 from Ash Gibson. You know, that really sums up the weekend for me. They've been spectacular tries. We've had a little bit of controversy, not much, thank goodness. We've not had much of that. Brilliant. Great 2 days.
I agree. You know, I mean, for the teams, it's been all about the 2 points. For everybody else, it's just been 2 days of great fun and enjoyment. And I think that really has been a success. People have enjoyed both their team's matches and the other ones. And the atmosphere, the welcome that we've had from the stadium staff has been incredible. I don't think there'll be many people who've gone away from this weekend unhappy with the experience. Obviously disappointed if the teams haven't won the game, but cannot complain about the experience of coming here for this weekend.
No, it has been tremendous. You know, and the good thing about the Magic Weekend now, Steve-O, is that towns aren't waiting to be asked if they will stage this. They are asking to stage it.
Yeah, I've spoken to quite a lot of the fans here, and they say, oh, we do hope that we come back to Newcastle. They've had a great time, and all the way through this day, we've given a lot of credit to a lot of people, but I think perhaps we've got to give a lot of credit to the RFL as well, because, you know, many years ago they took this option and a lot of people said it wouldn't work. They said that people wouldn't turn up, too far to travel, etc. I hope we come back to Newcastle. It's absolutely been fantastic. The games have been great. We've had 4 hat-tricks. That says it all. And we build up to this series. We were saying to them, you know, under pressure, big crowd. This is where young kids come to the fore and prove to the world that you can make it to international level. And I must say that the best I've seen today over the weekend has been George Williams.
And I mean, as well as everybody being thanked from Newcastle United, from Newcastle City, from the Rugby Football League as well, we ought to say there are about 8, 9 or 10 of us who sit here in front of the cameras and enjoy the efforts and enjoy what we watch out on the field. But believe me, behind the scenes here, there are literally 100 people, from production staff, cameramen, makeup artists, floor managers. Fantastic. It's been a great effort from all of the Sky team as well. I thought I'd put that one on the board.
And let's not forget the people who supply the food. I've enjoyed that as well. It's been sensational.
It was the drink, not the food.
I tell you what, we've never seen you without a sandwich in your mouth the last 2 days.
Be careful.
Okay, well, it has been tremendous. And what has it told us about the Super League and what's coming? We now have a logjam at the top of the table, don't we? 3 teams that are there separated by 3 points.
I think until you get to this point, not many people took too much notice of the league table, of course, unless you were the Wakefield side. But now from here, Eddie, I think the finishing line after round 23 is within sight. You need to put yourself in the higher stages. And I think from this weekend onwards, every win becomes even more important. Coping from this, from the teams winning here this weekend and the teams losing, will be a very important next weekend. We get the great game on Thursday when we get to see Widnes take on Hull FC, obviously battling for that 8th place. But I think the 2 points now become miles more significant than what we've had this weekend.
Well, look at Huddersfield. They're sitting there in 4th place with 18. Widnes are only 3 points behind in 8th, and Hull are only 4 points behind in 9th. The race is on, not only for the top 8, but come back end of the season for the top 4.
Yeah, you know, halfway through the season we thought perhaps that, you know, 4 or 5 teams would just race away. Oh, it's already done and dusted. No, it's not. Anybody can come. And let's not forget, Hull have a game in hand as well.
Yes, they do. They do have a game in hand, and we will see Hull at Widnes next Thursday. But tonight there is the Byron Nelson Day 4 now on Sky Sports 4, the final day of that PGA Tour golf event. Byron Nelson Day 4 now, Sky Sports 4. This is what's coming up on Thursday and Friday. Widnes against Hull, 7:30 on Sky Sports 1, and on Friday we're at Warrington against the Catalan Dragons. That's at 7:30 on Sky Sports 1 again. Widnes and Hull both won, Warrington lost and the Catalan Dragons drew here at the Magic. Is there anything you can read into all of that? The way 2015 is going, not at all. So there it is. We thank just about everybody. The last people we should thank are all of you good folks at home for sticking with us and watching over the past 14 hours over the past 2 days. Bye-bye.